in Monday, July 14th, 2025, episode 1166 of this here radio program. And boy, this will be one for the ages, boys and girls. Welcome in. We're firing up week number 234. It is inside the press box. This little radio show we started over 4.5 years ago, just to hang out, talk some sports, and have some fun. Mike Grace, your host, old play-by-play guy, sort of semi-retired. So I thought, hey, let me do a radio show. I'll bring in some of my best friends, guys I've met in press boxes all across the country, and we'll just shoot the breeze and have some fun. And that's what we're doing here again for the 1,166th time. Only there's something a little different today we'll tell you about, so stand by for that. We got plenty to get to as far as the sports world goes, both the weekend behind us and the week ahead. And I've got guys to talk about it with them, a former Alabama high school and Mississippi State basketball stud, three-year team captain, three-year starter and team captain at State, I should say, and a member of that 1996 Final Four team. Now coaching, mentoring at B Hyche 2-2. Bart Hyche, big week for you and your friends at Mississippi State basketball going on this week, yeah?
Yeah, headed to Jackson. Good morning, guys. Today to get ready for the golf tournament tomorrow, and we will be teeing off about 10 a.m. Not as big a deal that's going on in Jackson, though, as it will be Atlanta, but we will be at Annandale. Anybody still interested? We got a couple of spots left for the NIL Bulldog basketball tournament this year to support your Hail State basketball team. But football rules this week.
That's it, baby.
Football rules this week.
Indeed, it does. The countdown to college football media days for SEC football media days is over, y'all. And our freelance broadcast pro based out of Statesboro, Georgia, has packed up the gear and headed to Atlanta for the College Football Hall of Fame, where he comes to us today, set up on Digital Drive for SEC football media days. Welcome, Colin Lacy. You made it, man. They wouldn't let us in until, like, what, 6:30 this morning?
Yeah, when I rolled up this morning, they had told us that we were going to get in at 6:30, and so we were here right around then.
Yeah.
And I rolled up to the doors, and it's supposed to be those electric doors that open. They didn't open, and so it wasn't off to a great start, but we got in. I think we're actually doing this, boys.
Yeah, I was going to say, not just radio today,
Huh?
and not just an online stream, which we've done, throughout the show for PressBoxRadio.com. But today we launch, and I know you're going to find out why we're on radio. We have Faces for Radio. It's the PressBox Live video stream is up and running with the guys at SEC Football Media Days. Yes, there is Colin Lacy. He's joined by Brent Osborne, who's going to help us out throughout the week. A decade of high school football coaching on his resume. He's now Colin's on-air partner for Southeast Bullock High School football on Foundry Broadcasting in Statesboro, Georgia. Brent, hope you know what you got yourself into with this bunch, man.
I'm starting to a little bit. I appreciate you guys having me, though. This is fun.
Well, appreciate you being there. Bart, you and I did SEC Football Media Days up in Nashville a couple of years ago, and it helps to have a pal. It's hard to do by yourself up there. You kind of need an extra set of legs and arms and hands and that kind of jazz. So yeah.
Yeah, me and Colin, we work pretty good together for the most part. We've seen some things.
Yeah, he's helped me carry a box of equipment up the steepest stairs I've ever seen down in Savannah. So we've been through some things. And
I'll bet.
I just love how we debut video on this show, and Bart has to break out the cow skin behind him.
Well, what else? I mean, it's quite appropriate. It is, really.
Are y'all telling me that everybody can see me?
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Be careful today, buddy.
So
That's it for me, video gold.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Hey, video gold.
Oh no, where'd you go? Come back now. This is going to be fun. We don't know. We've talked about this for quite some time, and Colin is the mastermind behind it all. He said, hey, we can do this for media days, man. I said, well, okay, that's cool. Let's try it, and we'll see what happens. So again, great thanks to our affiliates all across the Southeast, 20 affiliate partners in Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina. You are and always will be our number one priority. But we love to spread the show over the World Wide Web, PressBoxRadio.com, where you can hit the listen link there and check out any of the previous 1,165 episodes. They're all archived on the episodes page on PressBoxRadio.com. But now, again, to add the PressBox video, you can get to it from the Mike Grace Live video or Facebook page is what it is. Mike Grace Live is where you'll find me on Facebook, and that should get you the live stream. I think Collins tweeted it out today or at least Facebooked it out. We'll try to figure out how to get it over on the X.
Get on here and share. Let me get on here.
Oh, please share.
That thing's shareable. See.
Let's just see if it gets the
here.
height stamp of approval. I know you have your high standards with having your own production company and everything, and It may not be the weenie dog race.
You can see us.
Yeah, there you are,
On a
man.
video, dude.
There you are. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm trying to figure out why glasses look blue, but whatever. And
When's
when
the last time you cleaned them?
well, no, I mean I think they're okay. I don't think that's the problem. I think it's just
It might be. You never know.
I think it's the weird lighting in my MGL production studios here. Again, this is I set this up for radio, not for video. It is what it is.
This is what happened when you put a camera in front of a bunch of radio guys. You don't know how to act.
It really is scary.
Hyche went like 4 years without cleaning his glasses one time, and he couldn't understand why he couldn't see nothing.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's get to the fun, shall we? As far as the sports world goes, Major League Baseball has reached the All-Star break. Braves took 2 out of 3 in St. Louis this weekend. That's the good news there. Atlanta now comes home and welcomes the baseball world in for All-Star Week. Truist Park, the site of tonight's home run derby, and then the 95th Major League Baseball All-Star game set for tomorrow night. And yeah, some football all week long, SEC style, with our coverage of SEC football media days. Day 1 of 4. We'll hear from coaches and players today. First up on the podium, I believe, will be the commissioner, Greg Sankey, who will be the first to go. Followed by, I think, is it Brian Kelly of LSU will open things up. That's right, baby. We'll get a little South Carolina Shane Beamer, the
We
son.
get Frank Beamer, we're in trouble.
Shane, block a punt.
Well, see, there again, you got to remember, I'm the old guy, and Frank and I are the same generation. So, I mean, I've met Frank a couple of times.
Y'all's kindreds.
We are. We kindred spirits. Exactly what we are. Then we'll have lunch in the afternoon. Feature will give us Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. Here's what I was thinking about. We've got quarterbacks. Garrett Nussmeier is going to be here for LSU. Lenore Sellers is going to be here for South Carolina. Austin Simmons is going to be here for Ole Miss. And yes, Diego Pavia will be here for Vanderbilt. And we got a lot of first-year quarterbacks coming in, but those 4 guys, we know who the quarterbacks for those 4 teams are. And that's not the case for all 16 SEC teams, but should be interesting as we hear those guys going on today. The real star of this show, again, is our guest, and we got a bunch of them coming our way today. No one better to talk college football with than Mr. College Football. Tony Barnhart begins his victory tour this week. He's announced it's going to be his final season of covering college football as a regular journalist, or a full-time journalist, 50th year of covering college football. And Tony B is going to join us and start hour number 2 here inside the press box. So we'll look forward to having him with us. Plus, again, as we mentioned, Greg Sankey, LSU and South Carolina, Ole Miss and Vandy at the podium. We'll see how many of them we can get to our desk, if not today, throughout the week. And again, the guys, Colin and Brent, will be there all week to record stuff during the day, and that'll help us the rest of the week. So we look forward to all of that coming up in the matter of hours. Also, odds and ends. We'll get to those in hour 2. Mike gets a NASCAR minute, and that's all we're going to devote to that.
Oh, I have a NASCAR 10 seconds.
Do you now?
We can't interrupt the turn left minute.
By the way, we've got a new development here from radio. I guess it's not Radio Row. Digital Drive
is what they're calling it. Yeah, thank you, podcasters. They've taken their name away from us. We were Radio Row forever, and now it's Digital Drive.
Yeah, whatever. But we will have South Carolina defensive back DQ Smith coming on the show at 8:40.
Cool. Outstanding.
So,
well done. Colin's been in touch with all the athletic communication directors across the Southeast. Some have said, yeah, we'll do our very best to get you some folks. Some guys said, we don't have time. I mean, it's just.
I'll give you a hint of who that was.
Isn't that the way of the world, though? I mean, some people are going to be swell and nice, and some people just aren't.
Way of the world if you're going to Grayton Beach or 30A or Watercolor. You don't know what alumni goes down there.
Either way, we'll squeeze in as much football as we can today. That is the plan, and we're looking forward, as we mentioned. The countdown now to kickoff is just at 40 days. And Bart, because I love you so much, I'm keeping up with college basketball, too. We'll hit hardwood in 112 days. So the countdown's on for all that. Let's get our Brave stuff out of the way, shall we? The Braves played their final 3 games of a 6-game road trip in St. Louis to wrap up the first half before the All-Star break. They took the first 2 games from the Cardinals and had the lead yesterday when the rains came, but after the delay, Jesse Chavez entered and did his thing, allowing 4 runs and 2 innings of work. So the Cardinals avoided being swept with a 5-4 win, which brings us to the All-Star break. Braves are 42-53. And let's face it, only the most optimistic fan believes their playoff hopes are alive. And I try to be that guy. I try to be the most optimistic fan.
What?
I try to be, but I just 12 and a half games behind the division leading Phillies. 9.5 games out of the final wild card spot with 6 teams to pass and only like 70 games to play. I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening.
So you're telling me that tone right there you're using is optimistic?
Well, I want to be. I'm just saying I want to be optimistic. I'm trying to be. It's just damn hard, man.
I'm with that.
Have you watched this game?
I don't know if I'm picking up what you laying down there, Cod.
It's just hard if you've watched this team. By the way, someone on this radio program suggested last week that they move Ronald Acuna Jr. I know as sacrilegious as it sounds. Somebody on this radio program suggested that we move Ronald Acuna Jr. to the 3-hole.
No. I said 2.
I said 3.
Oh, yeah.
I said 3. I said Profar in the leadoff spot, Olsen in the 2-hole, and Acuna in the 3 spot. And guess what? We saw that Saturday. Snicker apparently was listening, not in time for Friday's lineup, but in time for Saturday, to where he got us. That was the lineup on Saturday was Profar, Olsen, and Acuna. Yes. And all Ronnie does is go homered, scored a pair of runs. He was back in the 3-hole yesterday, went 0 for 5 with 3 Ks. So, it's a small sample size. You the womp womp. Oh, that's what we're on now. Okay. Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'm really glad Snit was watching, but once we put this video up, he might turn that thing
right back off. Let's check the MLB standings heading into the All-Star break. The East dominated by the Phillies, who lead the Mets by just a half a game, so it could be a race down the stretch, but doubt the Braves will be a part of it. National League Central, Cubs sit 1 game up on the Brewers, and the National League West Dodgers lead the Padres by 5.5 games. Giants also in the mix, just 6 games back. In the AL East, that's going to be the Blue Jays up 2 games over the Yankees, 3 over Boston, 5.5 over Tampa. So that's probably the best division race. In the Central, the Tigers with the league best 59 wins hold an 11.5 game lead over the Twins.
I can't wrap my head around the Tigers being that good.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh, it's about on brand for me. I was last year. I always try to pick a team that I feel like nobody's going to pick.
Yeah.
Of course, last year it was the Tigers. I was just like, I think Tigers.
Yeah.
They're good, and they were pretty good last year. And nobody pays attention to them. What's the market now for baseball in Detroit? It used to be in the '80s, Sparky, when Alan Trammell, Lance Parrish.
Oh yeah.
But name me one player other than that left-handed pitcher, this Sobel. Does he still pitch for him?
He does, yeah.
Other than him, you name me one player for the Tigers.
I can't do it. I do know this. They kind of changed the number one Tiger fan in years past. It was always Tom Selleck. Remember Magnum P.I.? Tom was he was a big Detroit fan. He's
Blue Blood?
Yeah, but he's lost the mantle. You know who the biggest Detroit Tiger fan is these days? Is actor J.K. Simmons. You guys familiar with Simmons?
No shot who that is.
You don't know who J.K. Simmons is?
I got no idea.
Nope.
Find the Google machine. He's been in every other movie you've ever seen in the last 10 years. Really. J.K.
Is he
Simmons
better than Jack Bauer?
I'm not going there. I'm not getting into a 24 fight with you guys. I'm not going to do that. But I'm just saying, J.K. Simmons, if you Google him, you'll see. And he actually, I think he did an inning of play-by-play for him on their radio broadcast a week or so ago. So, and they put on like a big streak. Well, yeah.
Only thing you better hope
Yeah.
is that Chloe hadn't tapped into this feed and now she can see video evidence and surveillance of
Who?
you all over. And Chloe from 24.
I'm clueless. Yeah. I tried.
Got you in the box hairs.
Yeah.
Right.
The background on this is I spent 5 hours trying to get through the first season of 24 last weekend, and I just couldn't do it. I had to bail out. So that's that. And much like Ronald Acuna Jr. bailed out of the home run derby tonight, Ronnie will not be playing. And I think this is a great idea. He had a little back strain last week.
But hang on a minute. You're bailing out of the home run derby, but you're still making sure you play in the All-Star game.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
Well, that All-Star
If you're-
game's turned into a big deal, hadn't it?
Right. Like, if you're good enough to go in the All-Star game, and I get you only play about 4 innings, 5 innings, whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
Like, if you're good enough to go there, play in the home run derby, especially when it's in your home park, and you're the only thing that Braves fans are coming to watch at this point in time.
That's not true. He's being replaced by Matt Olson, and to me, that's great because look out, Chop House. Here comes Matt Olson with home runs galore over in the right field.
Yeah, until
line.
he only hits 5.
Well, maybe.
I agree with Mike here a little bit on that. I do see if you're gonna get hurt and you got hurt and your back's already kind of messed up, the home run derby could be easy to tweak something. Or I get it, but I also understand your point, Colin, of the fact that it's been a bad year. Let's suck it up a little
Now,
bit.
I'm not saying he should compete. I'm just saying if you're too hurt for the home run derby, you're also too hurt for the All-Star game.
It's either all or nothing.
Right.
But see, I disagree.
Kinda like me at the
only
ball.
because the All-Star game is typical of a normal game. You're going to go out and you're going to play a couple innings, and so it's really less than a normal game. The home run derby is completely different. When you talk about the number of swings these guys end up, and again, they're max effort swings as well, and so I think it's a lot easier for him to injure himself further in the home run derby than in the All-Star game on Tuesday night.
I agree, Mike. I agree, but one all or nothing, I'm with it. But I think the last time I was a little kid, maybe the last time I never watched All-Star games. I'd watch the home run derby, but All-Star games I never watched. I think maybe the last time I watched the All-Star game was when Fred Lynn hit a grand slam. How old is Fred Lynn?
Tim Brando would love that. Timmy B's a big Fred Lynn fan. They were partners doing College World Series
Really?
back in the early days of ESPN. Yeah, Freddie was his color man. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, at one time it was. I could be wrong about this, but I think Fred Lynn's the only person to ever hit a grand slam in the All-Star game.
That's a great get a little factoid.
Look at you dropping a nugget on a Monday morning.
Have to get the Google machine on that one. I'm not quite sure. Yeah.
Grand Slams All-Star game.
Yeah.
Looking it up.
Either way, we'll see again. Matt Olson tonight, and one of 8 individuals in the All-Star, the home run derby. The things are so long. It's 3 hours now. To me, it's too. I can't do it. I can't watch the whole thing.
Ever since they moved it to a time to where that you have 2 minutes to hit, however many you get a timeout. Give me 10 outs. Anything that's not a homer's an out.
Thank you.
Let it ride.
1983.
1983.
Fred Lynn.
Okay.
I was 7.
Well, let's see. Home run derby.
I'm just telling you, it's 1983 when Fred Lynn hit a grand slam. I think it's the only one that's ever been done.
Okay, let's see what they're going to do tonight, boys and girls. I've only got about a minute here. 3 rounds for the 8 players. First round, semifinals, and finals. In the first round, the 8 players each have 3 minutes or 40 pitches, whichever comes first. The players with the top 4 homer totals advance to the semis. In the semis, the format shifts to knockout style, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. Seeds solely determined by the number of home runs each player hit in round 1. And then players have 2 minutes or 27 pitches in both the semifinals and the finals. Home run totals from the first round will not carry over. Any ties or semis or finals are broken by a 60-second swing off with no additional time added. I don't know. I'll probably just wait for the highlights on SportsCenter.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
By the way, confirmed, Hyche, 1983, Fred Lynn, the only one to hit a grand slam in the All-Star
That's
game.
our man.
Part of the
That's
California Angels.
He's brilliant. Thank you very much.
I'll be here 3 days this week.
That's right. 3 days this week, boys and girls. He is Bart Hyche, BHyche22 on social media, along with Colin Lacy Brent Osborne from the College Football Hall of Fame and SEC Football Media Days. Mike Grace in the MGL Production Studios just getting rolling on a Monday edition of the Press Box, back after a timeout.
I wonder if anybody's watching.
This means more. All time in Tennessee. What did you see what he did? Rapid in maroon and white. It's the Southeastern Conference. It's here, inside the press box.
Hey, why not? It is SEC Football Media Days kicking off today in Atlanta, Georgia. Our Colin Lacy and Brent Osborne on site for you at the College Football Hall of Fame. What used to be Radio Row, now called Digital Drive. And it's because of all us obnoxious video podcasting type folks. We're joining that crew. We're usually radio guys, but yes, you can live stream video of the Press Box today, courtesy of the Mike Grace Live Facebook page. So find it there. There's links all over the place. Bart Hyche was going to the social media out there. Do your Twitter bug thing, whatever it is. Get that thing out there so we could draw a few more viewers if they dare check these things out. It is Bart Hyche from, I'm assuming from Starkville. That cow wall behind you means you're in Starkville, Mississippi, yes?
So I am kind of gathering into my new place. Not moving, gathering things and just kind of putting them in there a little bit here and there.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh.
And then go check on some legislation over at the old police station this morning about what's going on with the old Easy that I'm not happy
is it about that fan?
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I have a new fan. I haven't seen it. I think my mom bought me a new fan. It's
Did
not
you
about the fan. That's not in their jurisdiction.
No, I think no. No.
If you're checking on legislation,
I am in Starkville. I had a great meal at Bulldog Burger last night.
Yeah.
Nice little hot chicken sandwich.
I still miss the cheese soup at Harvey's. It was one of my favorites back in the day. Cheese soup at Harvey's. So if you're ever there, check that out. You heard in the rejoin there some great history of the SEC. John Ward with It's Football Time in Tennessee.
It's the best part about Tennessee.
Yeah, Larry Munson in there with good God, did you see what he's? Oh my God! And then wrapping in maroon and white. That's the classic line from Jack Crystal, longtime Mississippi State man, and wrapped up with the late Rod Bramlett and his famous Auburn is going to win the football game. Let's talk a little SEC Football Media Days history, fellas. Quiz time for you. The first SEC Football Media Days was held in what year?
I should know that. I've got it right behind me.
It's the over under, or is it you got to get it exactly?
You got to get it exactly, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
you got to nail this one.
1991.
Can I cheat?
No, nobody's looking. No, nobody's looking.
That's a problem. They are looking
right
now,
here's
though.
looking.
You're right. They are looking.
What
guy's
in, the, what in the name of the Lord is that, Hyche? Do you have Jobu?
That was not Joe Boo.
That is not Joe Boo.
That's the
my
commander's
buddy's head. That's my buddy's head cover.
That's the commander's. If he's got a president.
President of the United States.
Cover. Okay, that's nice. 1989 is the answer. If you came up with 1989, that would be. Yeah, you were what 91, so you're pretty close, but you went over.
I'm like The Price is Right.
Bum.
Now here's one for you. Who's? I was really surprised by this. I had to go down the list. Who is? What's the right word here? Who's appeared at more SEC Football Media Days than any other coach today? So who's our longest tenured SEC Media Days football coach?
Mark Stoops.
My friend, give that man bonus points. Nailed it. He's got a ways to go to set any record, though. This will be his 12th SEC Media Days. You know who holds the old record for talking season?
Steve Spurrier.
The old ball coach, 23 times between Florida and South Carolina. Right behind him,
Nick Saban.
Was it Saban? I was about to say Saban.
You are on a roll, my friend. Saban's been there 21 times. And you know what? He is not a part of the SEC Network's coverage this week. Shocking.
I think that's an awesome flex by the GOAT.
Laura Rutledge will be there. Jordan Rogers will be there. Alyssa Lang will be there. Who am I missing? Ben Watson will be there.
Cole will be there.
Cole Kubick will be there. There'll be a bunch of folks from ESPN and the SEC Network, but no Nick Saban.
I'm going to tell you why Nick Saban ain't going. Because that guy that runs the Chick-fil-A Bowl is going to try to get in his way and stop him and act like they're friends and talk to him when they're really not. And he's going to do that arm jerk like
that was Bart Hyche's favorite scene.
That was the best thing in
SEC Football Media Days 23. That was 2 years ago in Nashville. Yeah.
Dude, that guy got in his way. He literally almost trucked him and just never checked it. He ain't going because of that. Now, my second favorite thing was Eli Drinkwitz's Jays that he had on. So the shoe game, Colin, I'm gonna need Ben, I'm gonna need y'all to keep me updated on everybody's shoe game and who's got the best shoes. That's always an interest to me. But you got to give Lane Kiffin credit for when he walked by that the girl that was working for the SEC, and he walked by her and just looked up and said, "Button or unbutton?" on his top button.
Yeah.
That's
little passionate.
Like him or not, like Ole Miss.
I saw our friend. We all know Neil McCready. a longtime sports writer. He's with covering Ole Miss now. I got to know Neil down in Mobile back in the day when he was the Auburn beat writer a million years ago. Neil does a really cool podcast, McCready and Siskey, that's on a regular basis. And I caught a portion of that earlier, and they were talking about the whole Hugh Freeze golfing controversy, right? Auburn fans are upset that he's playing so much golf.
Playing golf today.
Especially in the middle of recruiting season, okay?
And
their take was basically, and I thought this was great, their take is basically, the only reason people are really ticked off about this is because Auburn isn't winning football games. Watch Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's been to a Morgan Wallen concert. He's been on the beach, deep sea fishing. He's doing all this stuff. Nobody's complaining at Ole Miss. Why? Because he's winning football games.
He's got juice.
Am I wrong?
Nope.
He's got juice. Oh, look at him. That's the name of his dog, if you're not aware. Right? He's got
3 days this week, folks.
That's right. He is on a roll.
God, you're getting warmed up for that golf course tomorrow.
Y'all turn that camera on. Y'all turn that camera
See,
on.
that's the deal. See, we should have known. On camera, Bart Hyche is going to turn on the appeal, baby. Can't
We
help
really shouldn't have told you that we were doing this and
Really,
see
that
how
would've
long before somebody told you that you were on camera.
it.
I put one of my nicest T-shirts on to be on camera this week.
We appreciate it.
Repping the 205.
Wear collared shirts. We're gonna have to talk. Not collared greens, collared shirts.
Collared shirts. Mm-hmm.
You have to wear a collared shirt with some short sleeve breeches.
Yes, you do.
Do
Or
you?
a button-down long sleeve with some short sleeve breeches.
I watched,
Yeah.
I watched that reunion. The first person I seen was my Uncle Steve. He said, "Ride without no short sleeve breeches on."
Short sleeve breeches. Okay. Well, we'll be watching again. Fashion. Bart's not there to be the fashion.
Yeah, I mean,
I need picks. I'm gonna need like picks.
So, yeah, Colin and Brent are going to have to keep an eye
our
out on
fashion on this show from 2 years ago when you guys were in Nashville to now, you picked the wrong guys if you're looking for fashion. I mean,
Well-
Brent will hold its own,
So I feel like I'm
We
not,
just
I'm not
need you
too
to-
bad. Come on now.
but this is as good as it's
Bring
going
him
to
out
get.
in that pit with you. See, I think Brent's got some eye for shoe game.
Oh, they
Yes.
no doubt.
We just need you guys to eyeball to bring us who's got the best shoes, who's got the best suit, and any
That
other
dude's got
fashion
Adidas.
item.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think Kiffin has got to be a strong
Yes.
representative for both the suit and the shoe game for sure.
I don't know. I just saw Jake Crane earlier, and he may be the leader in the clubhouse so far.
Yeah, a little blazer action going on with Jake.
No, he was buttoned down. I think he's got it over
Okay.
there, but he's rocking the world like he normally does.
He was one of the first guys we saw. Colin and I checked in at media registration yesterday down at the Omni Hotel there in downtown Atlanta. And first two guys we saw, Chris Gordy, host of the Locked On SEC podcast, one of our great friends, and Jake Crane. There he was, Jake Crane, host of Crane and Company, right there in the lobby, right behind us, getting our credentials and getting ready for 4 days of football talk. Yeah, SEC Football Media Days going on in Atlanta, College Football Hall of Fame, which is where you'll find our Colin Lacy and Brent Osborne all week long, bringing us all kind of goodies, including Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, scheduled to join us at the top of the hour, number 2, and we'll see who else we can roll by the old stage. In the meantime, Bart Hyche holding down things in Starkville, Mississippi, and yours truly, Mike Grace, from the MGL Production Studios just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Great to have you with us on great stations around the Southeast, 20 affiliate partners in 5 Southeastern states, and listening online, PressBoxRadio.com, and video at Mike Grace Live on Facebook.
Lives here inside the press box.
You betcha. A couple hours a day on great radio stations all over the Southeast, online, PressBoxRadio.com, and now streaming live on the Mike Grace Live Facebook page. That's right. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Our faces. Mike Grace, Bart Hyche, Colin Lacy with friend Brent Osborne helping us out at SEC Football Media Days. Yes, Colin and Brent set up on Digital Drive, where in about 20 minutes we'll sit down and visit with Mr. College Football. Tony Barnhart is going to join us to start hour 2, and we're also scheduled to hopefully see a visit from DQ Smith. DQ is 6'1", 209-pound senior safety for South Carolina. Started 34 of his 37 games in which he's appeared over the past 3 seasons. A Columbia, South Carolina product, so a hometown guy. And did you know who I saw piloting the South Carolina jet that was headed from Columbia?
A truck driver.
No, a familiar face, though. Head coach Shane Beamer was at the controls of their airplane.
I don't know that I've ever had a worked with a coach that I would want to be flying my plane.
Well, we can ask DQ when he gets here. Was that just staged? Was that just a social media thing, or was Shane actually flying the plane? We got to know.
A little bumpy. Might have been a little bumpy when he took over.
Hey, Brent, you've worked with a lot of coaches, and I know some of the ones you've worked with. I don't know that I'd want them piloting a plane.
I don't know that I would step anywhere on the tarmac close to them being in the pilot seat of a plane.
I'll tell you this: if Rick Stansberry would have ever been in the front of my plane,
Oh, now.
yeah, I didn't jumping out.
What about Richard Williams?
He might have been throwing you out.
Coach Williams gets in the
Coach
pilot
Williams,
seat,
absolutely, dude. Coach Williams was like a math genius. Like he was
Oh yeah.
math, science, all that. So I could, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with him than I probably would most.
He'd have the vector Victor and everything that you need to do that kind of stuff with, I'm sure. Yeah, he'd be good. All right, so DQ Smith, as we mentioned, scheduled to join us. He's one of the 3 players who will represent South Carolina today, including quarterback Lenore Sellers. Everybody's talking about Arch. Everybody's talking about Nussmeier. We ought to be talking about Sellers. Lenore Sellers coming back. He was so electric last year. Going to be fun to see him, see what he can do with a second year as the Gamecock starter.
About a month span. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I completely agree with you, Mike. He literally got South Carolina almost in the playoff conversation.
Yeah.
Just with his play. Now, this defense, and we can talk to DQ about it, they played really well down that stretch. But if you've heard me say, I guess it's time for my first every year statement that you're going to hear 1,000 times during football season. They got a quarterback. And if you got a quarterback, you can get off the field on 3rd down, you got a chance.
I find it interesting. The 2 schools we'll hear from early today, the first at the podium after Commissioner Greg Sankey, will be Brian Kelly of LSU, followed by Shane Beamer of South Carolina. Now, both of these teams had 9-4 records last year. But for one, that was probably classified as a great season. For the other, it was probably classified as a disappointment. Was 9-4 satisfactory for LSU fans a year ago?
Probably not.
No.
But on the flip side, I think there's a lot of people that forget that South Carolina ended up 9-4.
Yeah.
And Bart, you nailed it with that backstretch that they had. And obviously it's not the hardest part of SEC play, but I mean, you get a big time win over A&M, get the win, just dominated Oklahoma on the road, beat Alabama in the middle of the season. Then you finish with Vandy, Missouri, and then at Clemson with the 3-point win there. People forget how good South Carolina, and we talked about them early on in the season. That game against LSU really seemed like it could be one that flipped it one way or the other with the way that it ended up being 36-33. That was a game that could have made that season go either way. But South Carolina responded, and they finished up the season about as good as anybody in the league.
Well, that's what I was going to say is Bart, like you talked about with Sellers, is with him being young, he got better and better every single game. He was improving every single game throughout the season. You started to see that in that last stretch of those games, that he was only getting better and better, and that makes it a really, really kind of a nightmare scenario for the rest of these SEC teams, knowing that now that he's got a year under his belt and he's gaining confidence and he's just getting better and better going into this next season. I'm excited to kind of see what he ends up doing.
He won the locker room.
Yeah.
Swag there about midway through the season, and then South Carolina did what you got to do in this league. Who's that team going to be this year? Ole Miss, Missouri. A lot of it's based on schedule, like we talked about last week. South Carolina took advantage of their opportunities, especially the ones at home last year. I'm pretty high on Sellers, though. I mean, I don't think it's outlandish for people to vote him number one. He might get a couple of number one votes.
Yeah.
What is it, first team or
Right.
whatever?
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. A kick and play.
Especially based on what we've seen in the past. We know Garrett Nussmeier can play too.
Are you taking, if you had one choice right now, those top 3, Mike, which one you taking? Arch Manning, Nussmeier, or Lenore Sellers? Who you got in the huddle?
Well, if I'm looking at what I know rather than what I think could happen, is Lenore Sellers the best bet from a dual threat standpoint?
Of those 3?
Yeah, of those 3. But if
Arch
we go,
Manning
if we
doing
go
all
dual
that.
threat,
I would say, can I say a fourth that's not even in that list?
yeah,
Legway, right?
Lagway. I mean
yeah,
that dude is if he doesn't get hurt in the Georgia Florida game, Florida wins that game.
yeah,
100%.
100%.
great point.
You look
Um,
at Phil Steele's, he's got Garrett Nussmeyer first team, Arch Manning second team, Lenora Sellers, he's got third team, and
Mm-hmm.
then John Mateer, who I think a lot of people are excited to see what that is this week, the transfer into Oklahoma, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out because that could go one of two ways. There's a lot of people that think Oklahoma can be pretty good this year,
We
but it'll
talked.
I'm
be
Yeah.
I'm not buying Arch Manning.
really.
I think that he's good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a very good quarterback, but I think the hype around him is a little bit too much for someone that hasn't necessarily proved himself. And I say that obviously, I'm a Georgia fan, and so I watch all the Georgia games. And he did not impress me against Georgia when they brought him in to try to save the day when Ewers wasn't getting it done.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I just, again, I haven't watched him play a ton, but I'll be interested to see kind of how he does so far.
The thing is, it's kind of like when the quarterback gets all the bad pub when you're not playing good. He's gonna get all the good pub just as long as they're winning and be elevated into a play because of his last name. And the last thing with this is, I feel like Cooper got hurt and was the only Manning that never got to play. This one's gonna be hyped major big time before you have to do anything, just because the Manning fan wants this so much for Cooper. You got to think about this. This brother lived in the shadow of his brothers his whole life.
Yeah.
And now it's his son's turn. So I don't have a problem with any of it. I just, like Brent said, I've got to see Arch Manning be able to throw a one-on-one 3rd and 7 against this guy sitting next to y'all because I just don't know if he can do it.
We know Williams-Brice Stadium was cranking on numerous occasions after that and during that 9-4 season a year ago. Big part of that on the Gamecock defense was DQ Smith, the 6'1", 209-pound senior safety. He started 34 of the 37 games in which he's appeared over the past 3 seasons, and again shared the South Carolina Spirit Award for the defense a year ago. And he's sitting at SEC Football Media Days with our Colin Lacy. Colin?
Dickie, you dive into this South Carolina team, and we were just talking about it. Last year finished 9-4, but it felt like there was a lot of people that didn't really pay as much attention to that 9-4. What was it like in that locker room, knowing what you guys were doing, especially down the back stretch, and being able to finish the season like you did?
Coach Beamer always preaches to us, it's not what everybody on the outside thinks. It's about, what we think in the building, and we live by that. Not really worried about, what I'm saying, what everybody's thinking about us, just really going out there and executing. And, they showed on the field last year as well.
Now, DQ, when you guys finished the season with such great momentum and ending the season how you guys did that kind of lead into, like, how did spring and this offseason go? Did that kind of lead into to having that confidence and that momentum going to this next season?
I would definitely say the confidence is there, but, we don't want to get too big headed,
Yeah.
knowing about what happened last year. This is a new year for us, new team. A lot of guys left our team. We got a lot of new guys, a lot of freshman guys coming in. So it's a new year. So just really starting over from block one, working on the basic things, just getting better, and we'll hopefully get back to that point again.
Yeah.
DQ Bart here, and being the hometown guy, I am very familiar with Hall's Chop House. Went to school with Billy Hall. I'm sure you've been there as well.
Is there?
But the hometown feel of Columbia. I had this conversation with Connor Murray Bulls, being from Columbia, and just I guess the ownership you feel, not only being from Columbia, but being from where the University of South Carolina is. I just think it's what we don't see nowadays is a kid that stays home. Just talk about the pride and what makes you want to be in Columbia playing for the Gamecocks. You've been there, quite a while now.
Well, the first part that made me stay was, my family is close. So, all my family is here. So it's an amazing city for me and my family. And then the second part is just Coach Beamer, what he brings to the university, when he was recruiting me, the excitement he brought, the closeness, togetherness he brought, everything. So I know this is what I wanted to be. The Integre as well, being a defensive back coach, I feel like he's one of the best in the country. So there was no reason for me to leave. It's just all family here, all love. It's one of the best cities in my opinion.
We're visiting with DQ Smith, the senior safety for South Carolina, part of the Gamecock contingent at SEC Football Media Days in Atlanta today, along with Coach Shane Beamer, who now owns a 29-22 record. He's won more games in his first 4 seasons at South Carolina than any other coach in school history, led the Gamecocks to 3 straight bowl games. And DQ, every time I hear him, he talks about how much he loves his players. I would think the feeling is mutual. He's a guy you want to play for.
Absolutely. He preaches this every day. We even have it on our love in the team meeting room. His love is a core value for us. If love is not in the building, things won't go well. So we all have to have love for each other. No matter if it's off the field, on the field, outside of the building, in the building, everywhere. Not just players as well as coaches. It's the training room. It's the equipment staff. It's everywhere. So it's contagious around. In South Carolina.
We talked about how good it was at the end of last season. How excited are you to get it going again here in this season?
I've been ready since the season ended. I've been ready since the season ended. It's time to get back rolling. What we finished off. Hopefully we can pick it back up from there. But we're just ready to start. Ready to start again.
We were talking about, or you were just talking about love and how that's one of your core values in the locker room and stuff. And one of the people we were just talking about before you walked up was one of your teammates, Sellers. What does he bring kind of to the table, to the locker room? He started to kind of what we saw as fans get into the rhythm a little bit as the season went on and just got better and better as the season went on. What does he kind of bring to the locker room as far as chemistry goes?
Everybody looks up to the Norris on our team. Obviously, he's the quarterback, but he brings a lot of funniness to the locker room. I can say that. Yeah, he's a funny guy, but a hard-working guy though. So he don't really have to be as vocal, but he still is vocal. But his work does show for what he does. And a lot of young guys, especially coming in, we see that. A lot of older guys, we see that as well. And when you have a quarterback that is working like that, it's contagious, and you want to follow him, and that's a great way to lead. And that's what he does a lot. As leading.
Yeah.
DQ, as a former cornerback, I never could do this because I just wasn't physically athletic and strong enough to just keep receivers from going. And this is 30 years ago.
Okay.
But my question to you is this: tendencies, okay? The guys that you have seen before or the guys that you haven't seen before, what are a couple of just little tendencies? Is it the eyes? Is it the body language? What are the things that you look for to get that advantage against those receivers that you're going to face?
It's a lot of things you look for, to get advantages on receivers because, we play in the hardest league in college football in the SEC. So it's a lot of things you have to look for to get clues of what's coming. Whether a receiver's coming up, he's looking hard inside or, by film, you could tell if his runner's pass about the way he's coming to the line of scrimmage. He's fixing his gloves or anything. So it's just little tendencies, going into the game. And then Coach T. Gray, he helps us with those. Coach White, we all pick up tendencies and, help us on the field on game days.
DQ Smith is in Atlanta, SEC Football Media Days, representing South Carolina. He said he can't wait to get the actual season going. He'll do so right back there in Atlanta on a Sunday night, August 31st against Virginia Tech. DQ, we wish you and the Gamecocks the very best of luck. Thanks so much for making time for us here inside the press box, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Again, DQ Smith with us again. The 6'1", 219-pound senior safety with 34 career starts, the most of any returning player on that Gamecock roster. And again, a South Carolina product who has collected 164 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 10 pass breakups during his career. And he'll be a big part of that Gamecock defense for head coach Shane Beamer. And look out. I'm telling you, that's a team to watch, man. That is a team to watch.
I like him.
Yeah, big fan.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just tell. I mean, why does he remind me of a cornerback?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He just kind of has.
I almost guarantee he was a quarterback in high school.
But he's got that quiet confidence.
Was it?
You can tell.
Yeah,
played quarterback.
This cat, as a senior in 2021 in high school, he threw for 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns, rushed for 500 more, and 14 touchdowns.
You gotta get a package for him on.
God, now you want a little two-way action played on both sides? Yeah.
That's the thing I love about coming to media days, and no matter which one you go to, whatever it is, you get to, and it's part of what we do with the press box here, and we've tried to do at least for years, is just trying to make it more personal. After this, I'm
personal
all
today.
in.
They can see us.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I'm all in with DQ Smith. I'm in with the Gamecocks right now.
Colin is Mike Grace.
Yeah.
And Brent. Colin is in his element right
Oh
now.
yeah,
no doubt.
me
No
too.
doubt.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I've been away from coaching for what 2 or 3 years now, and trying to stay in the football realm. Obviously, doing the broadcasting stuff, and so, but you miss talking to those players and getting to know them and a different side of them. And so I love that. He got a little personal with us, even about Sellers in the locker room, and talked about, that people don't realize that he's a funny guy, but he's also kind of a no nonsense. He's not. Sounded like for me that Sellers isn't really like a cheerleader type guy in the locker room, but he also leads by example, and you love to hear that.
The thing about that type of leadership, in the locker rooms I was in, it's kind of the same way. The funny guy, but when that funny guy has a different tone, he snaps his fingers. Brent, as a coach, like some guys have that command. They use humor to get to know their teammates,
Yep.
right? To develop a relationship with them. But they ain't joking around in it when it's 3rd and 5, and we got to have the line of scrimmage protected so I can have 4.5 seconds to throw the football.
Correct. Yeah, I mean they like to show that they've got a personality and that they can, be a great teammate to their fellow teammates and stuff. But they also know that, like you said, when all jokes aside, when it's time to get down to business, it's time to get down to business, and there's no question about it.
A little sandstorm action at Williams-Brice Stadium.
You'll hear it a lot, boy.
Oh, there are few entrances as rocking as that one, man.
I
Was
heard
it the
it.
caboose that you were telling us about last year, Height?
Caboose is.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
pardon
Yeah.
me.
You
I
need to
didn't know
see
what
if
the
Jeff's
plural
there.
of caboose was.
Hey, if Cox by 90's there, y'all got to go get him, and I'm sure he's there.
Here?
Yeah, my boy Jeff, the Cox by 90.
Oh, that's right. That's when you.
The world's largest South Carolina game.
That's when you were.
Yeah.
Put me next to the bench at the game.
I was going to say, and he basically lives at Hall's Chop House.
And
Yeah,
that's when you and Cocky got a little too close to Miss Paula's liking.
Paula did not like. Cocky got the memo though, Boy, I had some swag on too. But you know what? I do remember going to that game. I remember I broke my belt on the way in.
Oh, man.
That's on brand if I've ever heard it.
I left it outside in the shrubs.
What?
And come back. Yeah, we left it outside in the shrubs. I just took it off and put it right in the shrubs before I went in the game. And
In
came
the
back.
shrubs?
Well, there was some
You
shrubs.
littered with a belt.
I come back and got it. I couldn't.
Oh,
fix it.
okay. You did come back. Raise your hand if you ever stopped at Walmart because you forgot your belt on the way to a road trip somewhere. Yeah. There's a couple of us
Yep.
on here. Oh, yeah. That is Colin Lacy and Brent Osborne set up live at SEC Football Media Days Digital Drive, what we used to call Radio Row. But because we're streaming live now at Mike Grace Facebook Live, Mike Grace Live on Facebook, you can see us there and hear us on great radio stations around the Southeast and online 24/7, PressBoxRadio.com. Colin and Brent there in Atlanta. Over in Starkville, our own Bart Hyche, former Bulldog himself, and inside the MGL Production Studios, Mike Grace, glad to have you with us on great stations around the Southeast and online, PressBoxRadio.com. When we come back, we're talking college football with Mr. College Football. Tony Barnhart appears at SEC Football Media Days with our Colin and Brent next here inside the Press Box.
Why they heard old time war eagle jump Gatorade, hotty Sioux, cowbells, Hail State, mighty get a weagle, one damn eagle, rammer jammer, yellow hammer, give 'em hell, Alabama, and her Sandman all night long. Now come on, y'all, let's sing the song. They've been everywhere, man. They've been everywhere, man. Follow Jug and Bear, man. Put 'em on the air, man. The fun they've had their share, man. They've been everywhere. Makes me tired just thinking about it. They've been everywhere. Now that's a mighty fine a picking and a singing, if I say so myself. Nice job, boys.
And you can add Atlanta onto that list of places we have been, and we are there this week for SEC Football Media Days. Welcome in, Press Box coming to you on a Monday, first day of SEC Football Media Days 2025. Mike Grace inside the MGL Production Studios just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, over in Starkville, Mississippi. There's our pal Bart Hyche. And holding down the fort at the College Football Hall of Fame today, site of the SEC Football Media Days on Digital Drive. There's our Colin Lacy along with Brent Osborne, and we get to welcome Mr. College Football to start our second hour, known as college football's premier reporter for decades, ESPN, CBS, the SEC Network, a member of the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame's class of 2021. And now you'll find his work on the Football Writers Association of America's website, FWAA.com. He's already the author of 5 books, including the most recent, The 19 of Green, Football, Friendship, and Change in the Fall of 1970, now available on Amazon and elsewhere. And I suppose the research for book number 6 and away begins today. Tony announced earlier in the summer that this 2025 college football season will be his 50th as a full-time journalist. It would be his last. And as sad as we will be to no longer see him in press boxes all across the country, the journey will be chronicled in a new book look forward to in 2026. So there's the bright side of it. Tony, welcome into the press box, man. Great to have you. And we're back in Atlanta for talking season, man.
Well, usually, Mike, when I see you, you're looking at my office at home. So we're down here with the gang here at the College Football Hall of Fame and getting ready to do. You try to explain to people exactly what Media Day is, and you get halfway through, and they're like, "What? You guys are going to talk about football all week?" I said, "All week."
Yeah, that's what we do. So. Indeed, and we'll get the state of the league from the commissioner. Greg Sankey will be the first to the podium in just a bit, as a matter of fact. And I would think, with all the uncertainty and all the questions out there, it's still a very strong Southeastern Conference that opens up media days today.
Well, yeah, and guys, I think this year, now we don't know until they start playing the games, but I think this year is going to be a lot like last year. There were a lot of really good teams in the SEC last year. Don't think we had a great team, but we had a lot of really good teams, and that looks like it this year. But we'll find out. Who knows? Arch Manning may come in here and light it up, and things will be different. But it's going to be a fun year. I promise you that.
Tony, one of the things that really jumps off the page whenever you look at the SEC as a whole going into this year, the number of first-year starting quarterbacks that are coming into this league, either coming into their own role or coming in from another program. Of those, I think there's 9 of the 16 teams have first-year starting quarterbacks. Which is the ones that you're kind of looking forward to most, seeing what it actually turns into?
I kind of anxious to see what's going to happen with the Simmons young man at Ole Miss, running that offense. Lane Kiffin, does he try to be Jackson Dart? I hope he doesn't, because there's only one Jackson Dart. I think that's one to keep an eye on. And the rest of the league is very, very young quarterback. What's going to happen? What's going to happen at Texas? I mean, can you talk about expectations? I mean, holy cow! I mean, it got no. Oh, by the way, the Manning name, the this, and the start, and the Texas, the next. And oh, by the way, all you got to do to open the season is go to Ohio State, the defending national champions. No pressure there.
I feel like, Tony, I agree with you. And is it going to be that game that like Arch has to make a statement? I mean, I don't expect him to come out and go to Ohio State and just dominate everything. And now he may do it, but at the same time, like if you lose that game, what does Arch have to do to? I mean, is live up to the hype fair? Because it just seems like that everybody is putting him on a pedestal that would be hard to reach for any player.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, guys, is that this kind of stuff, it's ingrained. He's grown up in the family business. Pressure is a way of life. And I don't think this stuff is going to affect him at all. I don't think he feels like, well, I got to do this and I got to prove that. No. My job is to help run the Texas football offense. That's my job. And I don't think he's going to be impacted by that. Now, another young kid who might have a different background, who has not been exposed to this level of football, yeah. But, again, when you grow up in the family business, it just ain't no big deal.
And he's got a pretty good team around him.
Yes.
He doesn't have to do it all himself, does he, Tony?
And he's got Steve Sarkisian calling the plays. Okay, put it all together, and it's Texas is very, very talented. I think they're probably the most talented team in this conference this year. I think Georgia and Texas are the 2 most talented teams, and with a lot of question marks elsewhere.
So, Tony, talking about just Georgia and Texas as being your kind of top 2 teams, who would you say may be kind of a lower level or a sleeper team coming out of this SEC that nobody's really talking about, but that could really open some eyes this year?
Well, folks better be talking about LSU. I mean, people have made a lot of assumptions about LSU. They got an NFL quarterback in Nussmeier, and they went out in the portal. Their defense last year was just awful, and they went out in the portal and addressed that. I was with a lot of reporters, and we were talking to Brian Kelly down in Destin. He's flat up said this is the best roster he's had, period. And so I think that's a team people better be looking out for. They play the Gators in September. That's a big game.
Tony, before we get too deep into really diving into the X's and O's of this season, I know something that you wanted to talk about and something near and dear to your heart is the Dodd Trophy. Talk about the impact that it has and your connection with it.
I have been privileged to be on the board of directors for the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year Foundation. I think this is my 13th or 14th year. I had a great respect for Coach Bobby Dodd, and the Bobby Dodd Board of Directors presents every year the Dodd Trophy. The Dodd Trophy goes to the most outstanding coach in college football, but there's the pillars of it are scholarship, leadership, integrity. It's about a lot more than winning games. And, well, to give you an example, last year our winner was Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame did a tremendous job. And one thing we do at the Dodd Trophy is we present the award on campus at a dinner, and it's really, really neat. And it's just it's a special thing to be a part of. And again, winning and losing is important, but it's about character. It's about sportsmanship. It's about integrity. It's about public service. It's all those things. And so I'm very proud to be part of the Dodd Trophy.
Tony, a lot of people are a lot of journalists, people who analyze college football are really starting to be high on Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that has to do with quarterback, but a lot of people don't realize that especially toward the end of the year, Brent Venables' defense was good last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen from his entire career. What is your expectation for Oklahoma, and can they be a serious contender, whether it be playoff or to win the SEC?
Well, they've got a quarterback. McTeary is a wonderful, wonderful player. They feel really good about him, and Oklahoma needs to take a step. 6-7 last year. They need to take a step forward, and I think they will now. Are they good enough to beat Alabama again? We'll see. But I think Oklahoma's going to take a step forward. And now, will it be enough to get them to that 8 or 9 win plateau? We'll have to see.
You look up and down this SEC, and obviously the SEC, the best league, top to bottom, college football wise. What's the surprise team? What's the team that nobody is expecting from? I think of a Vanderbilt last year, and while the wins and losses didn't necessarily turn into what they thought, a couple of big wins. Who could be that team to make some noise that nobody's talking about right now?
Well, they ought to be talking about South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina at the end of the year was playing as well as anybody. Their final stretch run through the conference was very, very impressive, and I think they've got a chance to be something special. I'm curious about Missouri. Missouri back-to-back double-digit wins. They've got a new quarterback, and I think that's going to be interesting. But I think that's a team that you better be ready for. And you mentioned Vanderbilt. Pavia was just brilliant last year. But you know what? Vanderbilt's not going to sneak up on anybody anymore. Alabama said, "Oh yeah, we got it," and so it'll be interesting to see how they play.
And back to the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year award, the teams we're just talking about with Shane Beamer at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Who else are we're talking about? Missouri, Eli Drinkwitz. And again, these guys are going to be quality candidates for that award in 2025.
Yeah, and it is a good list. We have a Bobby Dodd Coach of the Week that comes once the season starts, and they have the watch list that appears now, and it's a very, very impressive list.
Tony, do you think that, when looking back at last year with it being the Bears' first season as Alabama's head coach, that kind of stuff, and, they had some hiccups along the way in Alabama standards, do you think that a lot of that will kind of be ironed out in his second year? Do you think they're still may kind of have some hiccups or may struggle a little bit?
Well, I was on campus not too long ago and spoke to some of the people on the staff, and don't underestimate the return of Ryan Grubb. Remember, Ryan Grubb was Kalen DeBoer's offensive coordinator at Washington, went with him to Alabama, but then all of a sudden here comes the Seattle Seahawks and says, "Hey, we're going to give you this much money, and you won't have to move to Tuscaloosa." And the guy says, "Well, I got to give that a try." It did not work out, and now he's back on the staff. And I said, "Is this a big deal having Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer reunited on this?" He said, "It's a really big deal." So we will see. Ty Simpson's been in the program, 4 years now? Former 5-star player. So let's see what he does. I think Alabama is going to bounce back and bounce back very well.
You've been to a lot of media days. You've been a lot to SEC media days over your career. What's the question or a couple of questions that you're looking to get answered here this week?
Uh, the Georgia people are concerned about the quarterback position, and frankly, they shouldn't be. I think Gunnar Stockton's going to be just fine. I learned from a coach a long, long time ago that the locker room will tell you who the starting quarterback is. And that Georgia locker room, they are firmly behind Gunnar Stockton. The guy, he's a gamer. He really is. Georgia's got bigger problems than quarterback. How about this, guys? Win this as a bar bet. Georgia, for all their traditions at tailback, has not had a 1,000-yard rusher since 2019. Okay.
Ooh.
Last year, they led the nation in dropped passes. How would you like that distinction with 36? Now, they've addressed the wide receiver issue and the drop pass issue. But I think Georgia's got a chance. I think Georgia and Texas are the two best teams in this conference.
Tony, I want to touch real quick on Georgia and Kirby Smart, just because we watched Nick Saban for years, just different mind games with the media, how you interact here and there, and like somewhat call your team out, what you expect of them, like through media here, there, whatever. This is a different spot for Kirby to come into this media days with some unknowns, right?
Yeah.
I see him embracing that and going back to like the ground level fundamentals of coaching. And we see a lot of coaches love that. Is that what we're going to see from Kirby? I think he'll like this role, kind of being in the, underdog, if you will, role compared to where he's been.
Coaches love that if they have a talented team. Okay. If you have talent, but you maybe you haven't taken full advantage of that talent, there's room to coach. Kirby loves it when he can get on his guys and say, you guys aren't that good. I mean, you really aren't that good. And knowing all the well, no, we're pretty good. And I think it's a good position for them to be in. The schedule flips, okay, all those games on the road. Texas comes to Athens. Alabama comes to Athens. Ole Miss comes to Athens. And so I think Georgia's got a chance. Now, Gunnar Stockton's going to have to not make mistakes. If you're going to play that close to the margin, you can't make mistakes. And I think he'll be just fine.
One team we haven't really talked about with Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, is Texas A&M. They were one that was up and down last year. 1 week it seemed like they were going to be in the college football playoff. 1 week it seemed like it was going to be a nosedive. What does Texas A&M look like in your eyes this year?
Well, I think they're going to be better. I mean, they got off to a good start, then had some injuries, and then they just sort of collapsed down the stretch. I think Mike Elko's a really good football coach, and I think they're going to be fine. Now, are they good enough to beat Texas? We'll see. But I think they will definitely be better, and I think the defense will definitely be better.
We talked about the strengths of Georgia, the strengths of Texas, a little bit of the strengths of Alabama. How about LSU and their chances going into year 4 for Brian Kelly, Tony? He is 0-3 in season openers as the LSU head coach. And, oh, by the way, he just opens at Clemson this year. Yeah.
Which may have the best defensive line in college football, I might add. Yeah, that's I think, well, again, when we were down in Destin for SEC Media Days, there was 3 or 4 of us standing with Brian Kelly, and he just looked at us. He said, guys, I'm just telling you, this is the best roster I've had. I mean, like ever? He said, yeah, ever. This is the best roster I've had because they went out and hit the transfer portal hard. They've got an NFL quarterback. They always have receivers. They can run the ball. They can do all the things you need to do. But, yeah, you got to go to Death Valley. You got to go to the other Death Valley and play Clemson. And Clemson feels real good about where they are right now. So that's why that first weekend is going to be so good. I mean, you talk about getting off to a great start. That's going to be fun.
Last couple of minutes with Tony Barnhart, and we talked about the book that you're going to be writing at the conclusion of this season. Is it one that you go through the season, go through the times, and then start writing it, or is it something that you're going to be penning as we go throughout the season?
Yeah, I have already gotten a start because what I'm going back, I'm looking at, all right, I'm LSU. I've been to LSU a lot. What's my favorite memory of being at LSU? Sometimes it's a game, sometimes it's not. LSU, for me, it's 2007. LSU, Florida, one of the great games you're ever going to see when Les Miles went for it on 4th down 5 times and went 5 for 5. Going to spend some time. I've already spent some time with Jacob Hester, who was really the star of that game. But it's those kind of games. I go back, Georgia, you guys are much too young to remember this, but in 1965, Georgia opened the season against Alabama in Athens and beat Alabama, the defending national champions, on a 2-point play, on a trick play and a 2-point play. That's been one of my great memories ever. But yeah, I've started the book and I have an idea of what I want to do. But with the visits that I make, things could change or things could expand. And as they say, it is a work in progress.
Well, one final question. Does Texas go into the horseshoe and upset them to start the season?
I think so. I think it's one thing to be the defending national champion. The pressure, I think, is on them, on Ohio State, because they're playing at home. So I see Texas going up there and winning that game. I sure do.
He's at SEC Football Media Days this week, coming up on Saturday, August 16th, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Mr. College Football will be a part of the College Football Kickoff Breakfast at Central Baptist Church Fellowship Hall, Noonan, Georgia. It's to benefit the Coweta Samaritan Clinic. And, Tony, I know you and your family, your wife especially, you guys do a lot of charity and work like that, and I wanted to make sure we promoted that today. You can find out details on Mr. College Football's Facebook page or online, TonyBarnhart.com. Look forward to that, friend.
Well, thanks for mentioning that. We've been doing this benefit every year, and they always sell it 7:30 on a Saturday morning, and the place is sold out because what do they want to do? They want to talk football.
And they'll get to do so with Mr. College Football again as he starts his victory tour, his 50th and final season as a full-time journalist covering college football. Always a pleasure, Tony. Thanks for making time for us, friend.
All right, guys. Thanks.
You bet. Again, Tony Barnhart alongside Colin Lacy and Brent Osborne from Digital Drive at the College Football Hall of Fame, part of SEC Football Media Days 2025. There's more to come, including more with Bart Hyche. And by the way, Bart, I've located one of your distant cousins, long-lost cousins, is a buddy of mine. We did not know this.
He at the reunion Saturday?
I don't know. Well, I'll find out. We'll ask on the other side of this timeout. We've got a full Hyche family reunion.
Of course we do.
Recap. Ferris family. Okay, Ferris family recap. That's coming on the other side of the timeout. It's the Press Box on great radio stations around the Southeast, online, PressBoxRadio.com, and Mike Grace Live on Facebook. Senior safety DQ Smith with us earlier on the show, live from SEC Football Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia, where our own Colin Lacy helping out with Brent Osborne at Digital Drive, where they're set up. Our buddy Bart Hyche is in Starkville. Mike Grace inside the MGL Production Studios just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And yes, you heard Shane Beamer. Shane. I like that guy. I wish he was, well, I won't say I wish, but I'd be happy if he was my head coach, is what I'm saying. I like the guy, and I think he can coach.
One of your teams would you want him to be the coach for?
Any of them, yeah. How about I just adopt South Carolina, and that way he can be my coach? How about that?
You got 4.
Then you've got the whole SEC East, I think.
Pretty much, yeah. What used to be the SEC East. There are no more divisions, boys.
Oh, yeah, I might get kicked out of here talking about that.
So, again, it's Mike, Bart, Colin, and Brent. And Brent, thanks again for being with us and helping us out throughout the week at SEC Football Media Days. This week, we'll see what else we can come up with. I do know this, though. We owe you a Ferris family reunion. Bart, in our odds and ends, promised us a recap of the weekend. And I just found out someone watching on the Mike Grace Facebook Live page, our coverage of SEC Football Media Days, cousin Joe Davidson. Joe
Davidson.
Joe and I worked at Sanford together.
Golf coach.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and recently retired.
He is actually on the Hyche side, or Barton side.
Is that right? Okay, yeah.
Buttermilk Road, Cordova.
Well, again, a co-worker of mine at Sanford University over the years, and he just announced his retirement, I believe. And just a message to you, Joe, if you enjoy your retirement half as much as I've enjoyed mine, you're going to have a blast, my friend, and we certainly wish you the best. All right, well, let's hear about it. The Ferrises were gathering where this weekend?
Pastime Theater right downtown Winfield at the it's like an entertainment center, and my mom kind of has some stuff to do with it. So yeah, it was a lot of bald men in that scenario. But I'd like to shout out my late grandfather, Pastor Frank Ferris.
Yeah.
He gave us some good genetics because we all got really good looking heads. If you can't,
Is that it? Yeah. Yeah.
When I talk about, I got a good looking head all the time. But yeah, it was. Guys, I heard one of the funniest things. Like I laughed out loud and almost dropped my plate at something. And I was gonna give it to y'all. So we're standing in the food line, right? It's me and my cousin Casey. Casey's behind me. Of course, he's bald too. He's full transparency. He is the headmaster or the head of whatever it's called at Madison Academy in Huntsville, big time school. So we're standing there, and a friend of mine, Pam Hawkins, one of the most Holy Spirit-led women I've ever met in my life. She's serving the food. So she's serving mine. We're kind of standing there talking. Well, then Casey's having a conversation with the other person that was giving the food. There were two back there, and all of a sudden, Casey goes, "Whoa, easy on that portion now. I don't have, I can handle all that." And all of a sudden, Pam Hawkins looked at me, or she stopped talking to me. She looked at him. She said, "You ain't gonna have no problem with that portion right there. That food's some count."
What?
That's that old rowdy hog.
I don't know what that means.
I got nothing for you on that one,
I
Hyche.
got lost there for a second.
She said, "Whoa." Like we're in mid-conversation. And she stops our conversation because she heard him say that he didn't know if he could handle all that food. There was too much on that plate. She said, "You ain't going to have no problem handling all that because that food right there is some count."
Some count?
Some count?
Some count.
Okay. And that what?
Have y'all ever heard?
What are we
I'm
counting?
trying to
That
what-
stuff right there, some count. Have
I've
you
never
ever heard it?
No.
Our listeners watch.
Is anybody surprised that that phrase was uttered at a family reunion in Winfield, Alabama?
Here's basically what Tony Barnhart just said to me. He said, "Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all need to pay attention to LSU and South Carolina because they're gonna be some count."
Oh, is that what he said? Okay. Well, so
I missed that part.
Is that the Northwest Alabama like translation that you were
maybe
looking
that's what
for?
that is.
Brent?
Yeah.
Brent,
So
Brent knew what I was talking about when I said that food was some count, didn't you, Brent?
I don't know about that. My wife says some pretty crazy things that she says down in South Georgia that I've never heard of before.
Y'all have never heard that food some count.
okay.
no.
No. Never heard
Hey,
that.
that's that old and shout out in the name of the place it came from. Oh, that's that old rowdy hog up there in Hackleburg.
Well, I guess so.
Rowdy
Buddy.
hog.
Hey,
Good.
We'll meet
night.
you at the Rowdy Hog. What do you
Rowdy
say?
Hog right there. I had lunch at the Rowdy Hog one time with the police chief Kenny Hallmark from Winfield, Alabama. So
Is
You
that
know,
right?
this place is slammed on Radio Row. There's a bunch of people in here. There's a bunch of people downstairs at the main desk and everything.
ain't no count.
I promise you, if I polled everybody here,
that walks by.
there would be less than 5% that knew what I was even speaking.
Landrum Roberts would know. Landrum Roberts would know.
Landrum was the first person I saw outside of the dude that somewhat illegally let me in the door. But Landrum was the first person we saw when we walked in. Him and Pat Smith.
Yeah.
So I think Alabama's going to be some count. That's what Tony Barnhart said. He said it's going to bounce back.
Yeah.
I don't understand where y'all are from. Y'all are from the South and y'all ain't never heard that.
No,
Never heard
Say
count.
if
No.
you never heard of I
dude,
reckon.
you're one for
Oh,
four.
I mean,
I got
reckon
news for
it's-
you. You've been doing this show for over 2 years, and we've never heard you use it on this show.
I ain't heard it in a minute. But when I heard it and almost dropped my plate,
Uh-huh.
it was the whole, I mean, like, she was like, "You don't think you can eat all that food right there. You ain't thought about it. That food's some count."
Well, I've told you boys before, I believe I have the ultimate inside family, is euphemism the right word? I don't think that's the right word.
Euphoria.
This is the phrase that my granddaddy used to use, Granddaddy Grace, when he wants you to whoa up. If you're coming up on a stop sign and you're not stopping in time for him, if he wants you to whoa up, he'll say, "Hold her, Newt. She smells alfalfa."
She did what?
You heard me. Hold her, Newt. She smells alfalfa. Now, I'm assuming that is a plow term back in the days when you was plowing and your horse and or mule.
Who's Newt?
Well, Newt's the old boy that's tilling your back 40.
Mike, I promise you, I am severely disappointed if you did not turn that into a touchdown call once in your career.
Hey, when somebody tells me to hold her, Newt,
Hold her, Newt.
better look out what I'm gonna do.
Well, that's what it is. Hold her, Newt.
Want me to hold her, Newt? I don't know what her nude is, but I'll find out.
That's
That's
your,
some count.
that's your boy that's plowing the back 40 there with the mule, horse, whatever, and she smells the alfalfa that she wants to get off to and get herself a mouthful.
Where's
so,
Darla?
Hold her newt. She smells. Top that one. Top that one.
I'm going to say that today to somebody.
Huh? Yeah.
I don't know if I'll tell them they smell like alfalfa, but I'm going to say, hold her, newt.
Hold her newt. She smells alfalfa. That's
The
it.
best part of this is that everybody can see Bart's face whenever he goes into his family's voice.
Yeah.
That's the best part of
Hey,
this
look at
being
these
on video
bracelets.
now.
I need to shout out actually my little cousin, Casey's daughter. She is about 6 years old, and she made me these bracelets that match my jersey.
Oh, very
Look at
nice.
you.
That's very nice. Yeah.
$10 a piece for her. We taught her all about negotiations, but we did not teach her about billing and invoicing yet. We didn't think we needed.
Okay.
But
So-
hey, when I went over there and she was making, I said, "Hold her, dude."
Yeah. Did you get those on layaway or?
I actually did ask a 6-year-old. I said, "Now, is this prepay or do I need to pay you upon completion?"
Yeah.
She had no idea what completion meant, but she never
Oh.
checked up and just went right on in. And she said, "Mm-hmm."
You didn't take advantage of that little girl, did you? Now, come on.
I mean, $10 for a couple of bracelets. I think she
She got you.
She got you instead, huh? You think so? All right.
Hold
Well,
her, dude. She smells like
you're-
alfalfa.
if you're new to the press box, that was our odds and ends segment, which we do every hour, second hour, every day, second hour in this little time slot here. And then that's the type of things you get. You get the Ferris family reunion, and you get
Hold her, dude.
you get count as a new term in Southern culture. And yes, hold her newt. She smells alfalfa. This is the Press Box coming to you on great radio stations around the Southeast, online 24/7, PressBoxRadio.com, and streaming live today on Facebook Live. It's Mike Grace Live. Just look for the Mike Grace Live Facebook page, and yeah, you can see Bart Hyche's lovely face in Starkville, Mike Grace in the MGL Production Studios, and our man Colin Lacy and Brent Osborne on site, Digital Drive, SEC Football Media Days, College Football Hall of Fame. Back with more after this.
Hold her, dude.
The stadium starting to shake Saturday night in Death Valley. Garrett Nussmeier touchdown. They're the LSU Fighting Tigers, and they're here inside the press box.
And the first at the podium following Commissioner Greg Sankey as we open up SEC Football Media Days 2025 from the College Football Hall of Fame, Atlanta, Georgia. Digital Drive is where you'll find our own Colin Lacy and helper Brent Osborne all week long. They've already brought you the action of Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart, who joined us earlier today. And our first player of the week, the award goes to he's our favorite defensive back, right? Our favorite safety in all of the SEC now. That will be DQ Smith, the senior starter for the South Carolina Gamecocks, who joined us earlier today right there on Digital Drive. And we must explain again, it used to be Radio Row, and they've changed the name. Should I be offended by that or no? Well,
Like, you don't like that. I can tell that you do.
I really
not
don't.
like
Well,
that.
I just don't understand the purpose of it. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
well, there's lots of folks on there, Radio Row, that aren't radio anymore. That's
Well,
why
that's
they had-
kind of always been the case if you really want to talk about it.
But I think that gives you like that just has like a traditional feel to it.
Yeah.
Know what you think?
Radio Row.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Radio Row.
Digital Drive just kind of feels forced.
It feels very,
I agree with that. I don't have no quarrel with that. See,
very. Is it the kids say bougie? Is that something the kids say these
Oh.
days? It's
Oh, yeah.
kinda-
I ain't ever been
some old
called
biscuit.
anything on.
I'm just
bougie.
asking. I don't know what the kids say these days. I'm just asking. Yeah. So,
Not a wasted follow.
mhm,
Say less.
yeah.
Bougie.
Ish. That's one.
A lot
that's
of
one-
ish.
A lot of
They're
ish.
not-
Yeah.
He's not real. That's what they say to me all the time.
I had
You're-
never heard anyone use the phrase "ish" until Bart Hyche. Bart Hyche brought me the "ish" phrase. I did not.
Us.
That was sus.
Yeah,
another one,
sus. Yep.
said courtesy of Bart Hyche. Absolutely.
Why you guys so sus?
Well, sus is suspect, correct? Yeah. I mean, that's short for suspect.
Suspicious, yeah.
Yeah, suspicious.
Are you suspicious about year 4 for Brian Kelly at LSU? We heard a little Garrett Nussmeier mention. He will be one of the 3 players appearing today, along with head coach Brian Kelly. Yes, quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, wide receiver Chris Hilton Jr., and linebacker Whit Weeks. joining him. And this is a team with some lofty expectations here. As we mentioned, 9-4 a year ago, but that was a bit of a disappointment. This is a team that had it rolling last year. They lost the opener to a USC team that ended up being rather average. Then they won 6 in a row, but then they lost at Texas A&M. They got throttled at home by Alabama. They lost on the road at Florida, finished the season with wins over Vanderbilt and Oklahoma at home. But we mentioned it again, 9-4. I don't think LSU fans are going to be happy with another 9-4 in 2025, boys.
Over.
You going over?
I've got the way over. I think LSU can be something pretty special this year.
I got him 11. I mean, all right, here's my question.
If they're not, Kelly's gone.
To both
Quickly.
of you esteemed holder newts.
Yeah.
What is the winning record of the regular season SEC champion? What is their total record?
Regular season champion?
Mm-hmm.
Going into Atlanta or after all said and done?
Atlanta. Basically, I'm asking you, is anybody going to go through the SEC undefeated? That's what I'm asking you.
No.
I don't think it happens. I don't think it happens.
I think it's 11-1. I think 11-1 is what
Feels
gets
like
you.
alfalfa.
You shouldn't.
I'm going that there's going to be. Hey, how about this? I'm saying there's going to be an undefeated team.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can do that.
How about that?
You want to tell us who is it going to be?
Mississippi State.
Well, now there's a fan's opinion.
What's in that cup?
There's a fan's opinion.
I thought they were pretty older, dude.
I told y'all I hosted the Bulldog Club meeting at the Tupelo Country Club back in 1980. Anyways, it was Emory Billard's, what turned out to be Emory Billard's last year. He stood in front of the Bulldog Club at Tupelo Country Club in Tupelo, Mississippi, and told them that Mississippi State was going to win the SEC this year.
LSU goes undefeated and wins the regular season.
Oh, now I like that. Give me some of that.
Yeah,
by the way,
I can get on board with that.
I mean, that's what, looking at their schedule, it's not.
They beat Clemson.
That's what I'm saying. If they beat Clemson and they go to Alabama, those are really their two tough road games.
Yeah.
Don't they go to Ole Miserable?
They do. Yeah, they do go. Yeah, I was just looking. They do go to Ole Miss.
It's okay. You can say Ole Miserable, Brent.
So here's my question on Ole Miss, and we'll get to Lane Kiffin this afternoon.
I got a bunch of questions about Ole Miss. But
Yeah,
that I always have. But go ahead.
There you go. He and Clark Lee, part of the afternoon contingent with Ole Miss and Vanderbilt there at SEC Football Media Days. Here's my deal. I mean, has the window passed on Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss? Well, wasn't last year supposed to be the year?
What? Window pass to do what?
To make the playoff, to be really relevant.
If that quarterback's good, that schedule's real good still.
Yeah,
Look,
no, I think you're still in the window. And I think you also kind of have to – we've talked a lot over the years of what that – I hate to call it second tier because it sounds less than what I mean. But not the LSU, not the Texas, what Georgia has been, that second tier, the 8-3s, what is the real expectation every year? Now, obviously, those you're going to be +1, -1 every year. And the +1 years, you can work your way into the college football playoff. You can work your way into an SEC championship game. But if you're Ole Miss, what is the expectation? Is the expectation 10 wins every year? Is it 8 wins every year? What is that expectation? And I know Bart is probably not the guy to talk about that.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I think it's 9, but with their inflated egos and how they are, it's about 14. But I think 10, 9.5 would be my over/under if I was an Ole Miss fan. And that puts me, because in this mindset, is there anybody that wins 10 games in the SEC that doesn't go to the playoff?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
Right? So this year it was 3. It was 3 last year. I mean, with how things fall, you get the right wins like South Carolina did last year. And Ole Miss, their schedule's fairly easy compared to everybody else's. None of them are easy. but they do have opportunities to get a couple of those big. You beat LSU at home when LSU's the top 5 team, you're in the playoff. As long as you don't have more than 3 losses.
And I mean, you look at it last year. There's 2 games that Ole Miss probably tells you that they shouldn't have lost. Obviously, Kentucky. If you win Kentucky, you're in the playoff, I think.
Yep.
That is so awesome.
Especially after beating Georgia.
I don't know. Here's about everybody keeps talking about the quarterback. You'll hear it this afternoon. Lane Kiffin can have the best quarterback on the planet, guys. But that ain't the most important thing to his offense. That man's got to be able to run the ball and get 3 yards a clip.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he gets 3 yards a clip, when he's running the football, that offense is not coming off the field because he is going for it every single. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, "Well, Daddy, if we just got 3 yards, we never have to punt."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know that sounds elementary, but at the same time, that is how Lane Kiffin views football. That's why he always runs the football on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 to sometimes set up that opportunity to make it a run-pass option. So if Ole Miss can run the football, I think they'll be good on offense. I just think their defense is going to be suspect.
Well, one thing I noticed last year with them was, and I had to confirm myself and everything when looking like at the scores from last year, is if you look at their scores from last season, they didn't win any close games. Like it was either a blowout or they lost a close game. They never got really blown out. But I mean, just looking at their scores from last year, I mean, they had about 2 or 3 games that were close that they lost by a touchdown or less. And I mean, that's a big deal. They got to be able to get over that hump. And that's what you guys were talking about earlier, is I feel you were saying that how with them being kind of like a second tier team or whatever, I feel like that's something that they've always struggled with, is just kind of getting over that hump. But it's one of those things that I feel like every time I'm watching them, I mean, that every game they go into, they have a very good chance of winning, no matter who they're playing.
The thing that's impressive to me about Ole Miss and makes me feel a lot better about Ole Miss going into the season
It's nothing. Love it. Go.
is how often are you trying to replace somebody of the caliber of what Jackson Dart meant to Oxford, and you feel good going in? Like, there's not a ton of questions around Austin Simmons. And obviously you've seen him at times and you've seen flashes of him over the years, but you can say the same thing about a lot of guys that are getting questions of, what is this guy in a big moment? What is this? There's not a Ole Miss person that you can talk to that isn't, for the most part, that isn't really locked in with Austin Simmons and what he's able to do, and the fact that he can be, I'm not going to say as good and the same as Jackson Dart, because they're different people, they're different players, they're different molds, but he can have the same impact that a Jackson Dart had. It's not very often that you find a fan base that is pretty convinced of that across the board, but it feels like Ole Miss kind of is.
I mean, if there's a fan base that would convince themselves of what they
Here
should
we go,
not
Paige.
themselves of convincing, it'd be them. Hey, Brad Logan's there. He just took a picture of you.
Brent
saw that.
Logan
Yeah.
is right here.
Yeah.
Tell him I said hey, and Hail State.
I find it interesting. You were talking about the next level, whatever you want to call it, the second level, whatever, Colin. And looking at our buddy Phil Steele and his college football preview magazine for 2015, he's got Georgia, Texas, and Alabama ranked 1, 2, 3. Oklahoma, LSU, and Texas A&M all tied for 4th. Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee all tied for 7th. Followed by South Carolina at 10, Auburn also at 10. Arkansas, Missouri tied at 12, Vandy at 14, Kentucky 15, Mississippi State 16.
Is it bad to say that somebody tied for 7th, I think, is too high?
Stop.
I really do.
I will say, I mean,
No.
based on that,
Colin, it's according to who it is.
That's true.
based on that list though, like the one thing that sticks out to me, and I know we've talked about it very briefly, but I'm not sold on Oklahoma.
No.
I'm really not. Like Venables has not shown me that. I mean, there's been glimpses, but he has not shown me that he basically has what it takes to be able to play an SEC schedule through an entire season, and be successful.
You know what they are, Brent? Oklahoma is the new Texas A&M.
Yeah.
They're the Jimbo Texas A&M. That, oh, yeah, this is going to be their year.
Yep.
and yet it never is.
Never happens.
It was. Yeah, it never happened.
Double time. So they
Everybody's all fired up about John Mateer and being the quarterback. And okay, but what's he got to work with? What else is around him? Phil Steele likes him. I'm just not convinced.
I mean, and their schedule, like if you look at their schedule is ish.
Yeah.
It's almost doable if you get, but there's just some games in between those big games, man, on the road that somebody might be able to get you.
Well, wait a second now. They open with it. Is it the Leathernecks of Illinois State? Who's Illinois State?
Hey, now them Leathernecks are some count.
Who is that? Who is am I right? Are they the Leathernecks? That's not right. Who is
No.
that? Who's Illinois
I
State?
think it's
Oh,
Western
they get
Illinois as the
Leathernecks.
Leathernecks.
Illinois State, whoever they are.
Bird. There's some kind of bird.
Then Oklahoma hosts Michigan in week 2. First ever regular season game between those blue bloods. They go to Temple.
Home, though, right?
But it's at home. Michigan.
They're going to win that game, and then everybody's going to be talking about it.
They go to Temple. Then they get Auburn at home.
4-0.
Mm-hmm. Kent State after the week. Texas, of course, the Red River Showdown is
lose that game
in Dallas.
Yeah.
So they lose that one.
Yep.
They go to South Carolina. Careful, boys.
That's the games I'm talking about. Those type games right there.
I don't think they beat South Carolina at South Carolina.
That's the first time you've been there at night.
I think there's a good chance, looking at that schedule, that they go on a 4-game losing streak there.
That
They
4-game
got
stretch.
Texas, at South Carolina, Ole Miss, and at Tennessee.
I think they beat one of
at
those
Alabama.
teams.
Yeah, after a bye week, they go to Bama.
Yeah, they go to at Bama. So I mean, that's a 5-game stretch that is.
So for them in Missouri, they and Missouri are my two teams that after week 5 are going to be really high in the rankings, like really high. So you know what that does to me? That helps those teams below that play the tougher schedules, like a Texas if you use to Ohio State, and then you got Oklahoma later on. If you beat Oklahoma, who's number 5, then that's going to keep you elevated and keep you in that talk for the playoff. So like Oklahoma and Missouri toward the end of the season, the games that they play because of who they've beaten before will be relevant regardless of where they are in the race for the SEC.
Look at this schedule. Oklahoma could go 5-0.
Yep.
But finish 1-6.
Well, if you look at last year, they started out 3-0, then fell to Tennessee, then had a big win against Auburn, and then they went on a 3-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of went down the stretch again.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they're going to be 5-0. Jackson, like, okay, do we really think there's really one? There's a game. Is Auburn going to go up there with their quarterback they didn't want, that he hadn't shown anything, and beat them at Oklahoma against Brent Venables' defense that he saw this quarterback every single day? No, that's why he's playing golf.
Do we think Michigan will give them a little run for their money?
Yeah,
I know it's at Oklahoma.
Absolutely, Michigan will give them a run for their money, but that's a game. That's the game that Venables has got to win.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the swing.
One. Absolutely, it is, because it's same old, if not. And Oklahoma's. Here's the thing: fan bases just want to be in the conversation. It really don't matter if it's week 1 or week 12. It's typically the same teams at the end of the year, but early in the year, you just want to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
We mentioned today,
and they're the team that's very similar to what Texas A&M was last year. A lot of hype coming out of the gate, and then that nosedive down the backstretch.
I just spilled my coffee, so like this is why we don't need to be on television.
We didn't see it.
Unbelievable.
We mentioned all 4.
Michael, I've spilled coffee in here.
All 4 quarterbacks representing today's team are there. LSU's Garrett Nussmeier, South Carolina's Lenore Sellers, Ole Miss's Austin Simmons, Vanderbilt's Diego Pavia. Tomorrow, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas are on the agenda. Auburn will be bringing Jackson Arnold. Georgia will be bringing,
Gunnar Stockton.
Thank you, Gunnar Stockton. Tennessee will not be bringing a quarterback.
Love that move, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
They don't know
who would they bring?
But,
Yeah.
I mean, if everybody's so secure that Joey Aguilar is going to be the guy, why is he not here?
Yeah, I'm disappointed that he's not there, because I've been saying all summer, I think Aguilar could have a great season at Tennessee. He was great at App State other than turning the ball over.
How would you bring him there when nobody
was-
knows you can keep
In the
it
2 years he was at App State, he was honorable mention All Sun Belt,
No.
and that's going to be an All SEC type guy.
Yeah. Bart Hyche is on it.
Hey, that Sunbelt, them Sunbelt defenses is some count.
He's right though. You got to keep him under the radar. That's why you don't bring him. You don't want people asking questions.
I just think I think Josh Heupel likes the fact that he can play this game a little bit and just kind of keep it in the dark. I don't know. I don't.
And then
I'm not sure about Tennessee. I'm gonna have to see them play before I can give you any prediction.
Yeah.
The Texas quarterback is expected to be there as well. Some guy named Arch Manning. It's his year, man. I mean,
I'm putting him in the Austin Riley category before he takes a snap this year.
Oh Lord!
wow. I mean, everybody expects him. He's the Heisman favorite going into the year.
I'm out.
Hey, speaking of quarterbacks around the league, I know we got to wrap up in a minute. I'm surprised Texas A&M doesn't bring their quarterback.
No kidding. That's
Another one. He's another one that we ain't talked about enough.
Yeah.
We'll get to later in the week. A&M will be on the schedule later in the week. Again, today, SEC Football Media Days, day one from the College Football Hall of Fame. Our Colin Lacy and Brent Osborne are going to be there all day. They'll be collecting all kind of cool interviews. Some you'll hear later tomorrow on the show here, and some maybe we'll try to put up on the Facebook page and get them out there on social media as well. So, big thanks to Colin Lacy and Brent Osborne for doing the hard work this week. Meanwhile, Mike Grace, Bart Hyche, we're just farting around. Yeah, that's the plan. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I'll be here, man.
Yeah.
I like this new video thing though. I think.
Yeah, so far, then again, kudos to Colin Lacy. He's the man that made it all happen on great radio stations around the Southeast, online 24/7, PressBoxRadio.com, and watch out. Yes, streaming live on Facebook Live, Mike Grace Live, and PressBox Radio 1. That's PressBox Radio and the number 1. Till tomorrow, gang.